What's going on there, YouTube and Twitch fans? I just wanted to come in and show you guys another one of the builds that I've been running quite frequently. I'm sure you've seen it on my streams. It's the PFE tank. So we're going to go ahead and move on into this one, and we're going to smash it out of the park. First, I want to give some thanks to the FKM Death Division, as well as the GC Rock Discord for showing me this build. FKM Death Division, of course, is the clan that I run with, and the guys that got me into this streaming in the first place. GC Rock Discord has its own community that has really helped me excel in some of the roles in the different raids, and also shown me some new methods of running through the legendary missions that we've been given here recently. That would be Tidal Basin and Manning National Zoo. These PFE tanks are a way to roll right through those missions without a problem. Normally you'll see my crew and they're going to run 2 PFE tanks, 1 skill or 2 skill damage builds. Sometimes we run 1 skill damage build and a red DPS. Reason why we run those is because we want to make sure that we have enough distractions to keep the DPS alive, as well as the tanks out there tanking. We do need our teammates to kill the red and purple elites as fast as possible. Being that the build is focused around protection from elites, we can get shredded by the reds and purples because they're still legendary equivalent. Anyways, without further delay, I'll go ahead and take you in and start showing you the build. So let's go ahead and run over here to the main area. There's a couple different ways that you can run this build, and the way that I'm running it is just one of them. So what you're going to see is, first off, your weapon. Your primary weapon you're going to be using in my version is the Scorpio. And the reason why I use the Scorpio so much is because of the different debuffs that it provides, as well as the increased damage that you can provide your allies with on that particular target that you're shooting with it. So as everybody knows, the Scorpio is the weapon of choice for most people. First one, poison. Third one, disorient. Sixth one, shock. But the seventh is the most important, and that's the one that causes that target to take 20% additional damage from all sources. So that is one of the key points to the version of the build that I run. Next is going to be the secondary weapon of choice. I went with the SIG MPX here, and the reason why I chose the SIG is just because it seems to be enough damage at close range to take down a red or a purple should I need to, if I run out of ammunition in my Scorpio at the moment and I really need to burn them down quickly. You will see that I don't have it expertised up quite yet, and it still hits pretty hard for an SMG. Getting about 250 on my crits here. That's pretty sufficient for an 2.2 million armor build. Next is going to be my TDI card, which I have added Sledgehammer to. I use Sledgehammer because I have the incendiary grenades because of the specialization I've chose on this particular build. And Sledgehammer is a wonderful debuff, causing the targets that are marked with that incendiary burn to take 30% more damage and have 20% less movement speed. Unfortunately, the Sledgehammer is a bit broken right now, so you'll see that you will also suffer the 20% movement speed loss, and that does stack with each target you debuff. So you'll move slower and slower and slower with the more targets that you debuff. It is kind of fun though, even though you're moving slow, you can kind of make fun of yourself and look like the $7 million man or something like that. So anyways, moving on. We've got the Chill Out mask. Everybody knows this mask. It's dropped on the holidays. I picked these masks up in all different variants, but this one is one of my favorites. Here you'll see that I have crit damage rolled to it. It comes with the armor core, and then I'm running 13% protection from elites. So just to give you a little bit more information about the protection from elites that's involved in this build, you do not want to go above 80%. So 80% is the protection from elites cap. Once you go above that, you won't see that increase at all. Currently on this build, I do believe I'm running 73%, but we'll get in there and look at that in just a minute when I go through the stats. Next is going to be my chess piece. Chess pieces are something that you can change from time to time on this build. I run a couple of different chess pieces on this build. You can run tardigrade if you really want to, but you're going to lose a lot of your damage output. You will have that save yourself or save an ally option there, so that's one of those things. You'll gain a bit more regen as well. I run this one also, crit damage, crit chance, and of course the initial blue armor core and a 12% protection elites mod. On mine, I'm running perfectly unbreakable, so this is the 0F's chess piece, the named Badger Tough. This piece is important, but just one piece of Badger Tough is enough because you get that 10% shotgun damage. The 5% total armor isn't necessary in the sense that it only gives you that 0.2 million that you see there in the 2.2 million armor. Another chess piece that you will see me run in this is going to be the Point Man. Point Man offers me with the option to provide myself and my allies if I'm in a raid, or just my allies if I'm in a 4-man team, with 50% of my armor as bonus armor. At 2.2 million, that means they're receiving 1.1 million armor as bonus armor. And that only has a 5-second cooldown, so you can pretty much play aka Captain Save-A-Ho. When somebody's getting ready to die, you whip that out. Or you can keep it up at all times for your allies that like to run the Intimidate talent. This will cause that to proc constantly and be at full damage when they go to damage an enemy. Next, you're going to see that I'm running an improvised holster. Reason that I'm running this holster is so that I have that additional mod slot to get my protection from elites above 70%, which most protection from elites builds, you're going to see that you aren't really mitigating enough damage until you reach that cap or soft cap of about 70%. The hard cap for protection elites, again, is 80%. But a good soft cap to set for yourself is going to be 70. Again, you'll see that I have this rolled crit chance, crit damage with the armor core. Yes, these pieces are hard to get because you have to craft them, so optimizing them can be a bit tricky. Next and most important in my version of the build is going to be the setup, aka perfectly opportunistic Uzina backpack. First tier bonus on this set is going to be 5% total armor, which is another huge bonus to the armor, but again, only 0.2 million. So you can change this out for, say, the Memento. I've run the Memento and just swapped my protection from Elite's backpack over. The Memento is nice because you are getting a few kills. Definitely wouldn't recommend running the Memento when you're running the legendaries unless you have a couple of other strong PFE tanks with you that are running different variants. Another cool thing that you can use in this build, which I didn't mention earlier when I was going through the weapons, is the Dr. Home. So say you and your friends are doing a quick credit card, aka debit card character for somebody in New York. You can separate and you can use the Dr. Home and the Memento to generate basically armor for yourself, and then the Dr. Home will heal anybody in the group, no matter if they're all the way across the map or not. They will receive those heals. Of course, the Dr. Home talent, as you can see, shooting an enemy with this weapon will apply a mark for 5 seconds. If the marked target dies, if the marked target is killed, it will drop a 15% armor repair kit, which applies to the whole party when picked up. The party does not have to pick the kit up. You pick the kit up. And it heals them. Literally heals their armor wherever they're at. Just something to kind of take note of. It's a fun one to run when you're running heroic and below content. Don't really recommend it in legendary so much, but have fun messing with the build. Okay, moving on into the gloves, you can see that I am running the Bellstone Armory gloves, which gives me the 1% armor regen. A lot of PFE tankers like to swap this one out for an improvised piece because the regen's not as important to them. I enjoy the 1% regen myself because it does give me that little tiny bit of survivability that you just don't have without it. Again, you'll see that I have the standard blue armor core, and then I've rolled it to, or I'm sorry, I haven't rolled it, but I picked it up with crit chance, crit damage. And my final piece here, which allows me to be able to change out my chest piece, is the second piece of Badger Tough, which gives you another 5% bonus armor. And this piece is also given with an armor core, and crit chance and crit damage are rolled to it. So a couple of other variants that you may see out there is going to be that your gloves and your knees will be improvised pieces, and you will see that somebody is going to be running a backpack with Galvanize on it. Galvanize is a really good talent. It allows anything that any damage that you do to a status affected target or shooting a status affected target, which you will get when you shoot the Scorpio, shooting a status affected target gives your party members bonus armor, and I do believe that applies to yourself as well. Now you can also run the Vanguard like I showed earlier. That applies bonus armor as well, so you're going over the 1.5 million mark with that, and it's huge for your allies when you're running that variant. A PFE tank running one like mine and a PFE tank running one like that, and you would probably be unstoppable. Another thing that a lot of people are going to ask is, what specialization do you run? So, the specialization I've chosen here is going to be the specialist, or survivalist, sorry. Survivalist, and the reason why is because of multiple things. One of the big ones is the incendiary grenade, which with Sledgehammer, everybody knows that you can put out the incendiary grenade, and as long as you have the weapon with Sledgehammer or perfect Sledgehammer in your hands, any enemy that is touched by the fire or damaged by the fire will receive the Sledgehammer debuff. So essentially, you can debuff a target 2 times with one incendiary grenade as long as they walk back into the fire. The other portion of this is going to be that you have 15% outgoing healing. That's important because of the armor kit that you get other than this piece right here, which is 10% protection from elites. This 10% protection from elites is a huge bonus for me, being that I'm trying to reach that cap of 80%. Currently, I'm sitting at 73, I believe. The other big thing in this build is I can run back to my allies who have now used up all of their armor kits and get within 20 meters of them, or the other PFE tank, should he be low on health, and I apply an armor kit after taking a small amount of damage, and everything within 20 meters receives the heal. It does heal over 5 seconds, but it's big chunks of armor if you're in a 2.2 million armor build, so it'll heal a DPS up pretty quickly. It also gives you the option to run the Mender Seeker Mine if you do decide to do so for a little bit additional heals. I don't, however, choose to do that. It's just kind of one of those things. So you also have the Survivalist Tactical Link, which group members get 10% bonus damage to targets with status effects. This is huge because you're using the Scorpio. Okay. I didn't really talk about the backpack much, but again, perfectly opportunistic. Basically, it's going to cause enemies that I damage with a shotgun or a marksman rifle to take 15% more damage from all sources. So another huge part of it, okay? If you want to run the regular opportunistic, if you don't have the setup quite right, you can run an Uzina standard piece with the regular opportunistic, and you'll get 10% more damage from all sources on any target you shoot with the shotgun. Another very important part of this build is going to be the shield. You need to use the Crusader shield if you're going to run the Scorpio, because you can't fire that weapon from any other shield besides the firewall shield. So the Crusader shield is essential, and it allows you to be able to stand behind a big piece of armor, which mine currently, you can see, shows 4.6 million health. Okay, that's a pretty good chunk of health on top of the 2.2 million armor that I have myself. And if you add in the fact that I'm unbreakable, I'm at 4.4 million armor. So there is that. I choose to run a Reviver Hive in this build as well. And the reason why I run that Reviver Hive is because all I have to do in order to get 2 charges on that Reviver Hive is make sure that my TDI card, which you saw here, which grants 1 skill tier when it's in your hand, is in my hand. And it allows me to be able to drop my hive to pick up an ally, a DPS usually, that goes down, and then pick my hive back up and still have it for myself to save myself should I go down. So that's the build, guys. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. If you want to see any of the other variants broadcast here, for sure, definitely let me know. If you want to see gameplay with this build, watch my streams, do some other stuff. I will be making a future build video, or not build video, but a gameplay video of the primary builds that I run, and you'll get to see that. If you enjoyed the video and you enjoy the content that I create, please subscribe. I'm trying to get to that monetized status, and I need some more subscribers to reach that 1,000 mark. So definitely thank you to everybody that has subscribed and everybody that's watched the video all the way through to this point. And this is Hop75 signing out.